Welcome everyone on YouTube and on Twitch for game number 2 of the round of 16. This is the 5th set, so we are having 8 sets obviously. This is the home map of Friar Tuck. He decided for Ravines, and look at that, he's actually playing Khmer here, and Saladin playing Chinese, so none of those players went for Franks, even though we have 2 berry patches. Interesting decision. But yeah, it's not that much of a difference that you have 250 extra food, especially with all of the hunt. Chinese might reveal itself as one of the best civilizations. It definitely is one of the best civilizations, but it's more of a dark horse civilization on this map.
But
Same might go for Khmer, especially since your early farming is a little bit awkward, since you have to farm around the hill in the few age, so you'll need more time to make the farms. So the Khmer can just smash those farms wherever they please. They don't have to pay attention. Oh no, this lumber camp is so horrible. Does he have an idea? Yeah, now he sees it with his goose. The backward lines are slightly better. Definitely way better, especially this one. So is that a lack of preparation here by Friar Tuck? Can easily be. On the other hand side, we have Saladin going for 7 villagers on food, 3 to wood right now, and that indicates a scouts opening. It's not impossible that he will play man-at-arms, but I've never seen man-at-arms on this map just yet, even though I don't see why to not play man-at-arms on Ravines. Let's see how many tiles the golds and the resources spawn from the town center. So of course, if you go man-at-arms, you want to find something to harass, right? So that's 3 tiles. Let's actually turn on this grid so we see all of this with more ease. So 6 tiles. So yeah. So you could make a mining camp here, and I think those 2 tiles are protected, especially if you drop off the food, and then it's extremely awkward for man-at-arms to do damage to gold miners. And then there are not too many more positions for blue to secure. Oh no, he doesn't have too much vision of his map, so it's just walling all around. I mean, it's not the biggest deal, as long as he doesn't draw a wall there as well. It's doing so now though. So maybe we'll even see one player going for fast castle. What I've seen most of the times was in the earlier stages of Ravines, before people were familiar with it, that people went for just scouts and walled later on, or didn't wall at all. Nowadays, most of the times people just fully wall up. Sometimes someone is going for fast castle, sometimes they're still playing feudal. But for example, there was a preparation game on Vivi's stream, Vivi against the Viper. The Viper was not streaming this, by the way, where the Viper was going for a pure fast castle or drush fast castle. Don't exactly remember the opening, but with fast castle behind, and that worked out so well. Vivi just didn't have a way of breaking inside with his scouts, and even if he would have, with something like villagers to complement the scouts with towers, they would have needed to walk so far until they would take out vital resources. That's the fast castle approach. Is, by the looks of things, what both players are going to opt for here. Especially Blue went for the first couple walls just so darn early. I wonder if he will take the second berry patch. Probably not, just because of familiarity reasons for build orders. But when you take 1 patch of berries, why do you take this at all then? Just send a couple more on wood early on and go for pure farming, take both or 0. But of course it's a tournament game, so you don't want to end up with doing something you've never done before. So I presume that's the reasoning why both players are going for only 1 berry patch. And are not taking the other ones. Maybe they'll probably mill them later on once they want to expand their economy and add more farm eco as well. And blue is still not fully walled. I mean green. Blue, it's 9 minutes. He's still in Dark Age. He's still queuing up villagers, sitting on 25 population, so that's a fast castle for sure. Expanding his walls as well. And is he even playing so defensive with his scout? Does he even have vision? No, he does not even have vision of green's position. All what he's doing with his scout is using it defensively to secure his waller. No, even speeding up as well. Don't like too much that he sent his scout around, because if green would reach feudal age now, then the scout can be picked off by green's scout, especially when green clicks inside. It's not too unlikely to happen. Weird wall by blue, but of course he doesn't know about the layout there, where the woodlines are and such, how he could actually wall. So he's preferring the rather safe than sorry approach. 1 lumber camp play by him, 7 lumberjacks there. On the other side of the map we got green actually going for fast feudal. He even went for a barracks, not throwing down a stable though. Oh, will that scout get inside? Okay, nice move to finish this off with a house. It was quite a close one. So let's see, that's 295 food on each farm, so he went for horse collar as well. Now opts for the second patch of berries too. I would have preferred the mill more to the inside though. But if he's going to make a town center around here, then it doesn't make a difference where he's building the mill at the moment. Now blue in Castle Age as well. Is he going to click up immediately? No, he will have to produce 1 or 2 villagers before he can go to the Castle Age. So a little bit of a slip up in his economy and his eco planning there. If you want to go, if you're going fast castle with Khmer, most of the times you just want to click to Castle Age immediately after you reach feudal age, since you don't need the buildings. But of course one can also make an argument to, especially on more open maps where you don't start with walls, to go a little bit earlier to feudal, produce those 2 villagers, just to have the option to react earlier to aggression with stone walls, towers, whatever is needed, if some tower aggression is going to happen. Stable play even by the Khmer player. I'm not too sure about that choice. Maybe it's a fake stable to force a couple of camels, or some sort of reaction out of Saladin, who is playing crossbows. And his economy not looking all that bad. Started with 1 archery range, sitting on 2 lumber camps, 6 lumberjacks there, 5 there, 6 foragers, and 8 farmers. About to be 8 farmers. And he will click up at a really crisp time for a fast feudal, I gotta say. Let's see how many resources both players already collected. So quite even, slight lead for the Chinese player, who is obviously on a better villager count right now. Also has eco upgrades, since he went for the fast feudal, contrarily to the fast castle by the Khmer player. Not sure why he's taking gold there. Maybe he wants to sneak out that villager for some aggression. It looks to me more like a boom approach. He didn't make a blacksmith for upgrades. Let's see if green knows about the stable. And if he's going to... Yeah, he knows about the stable. But he's just happily going for a second archery range. He's not reacting to that at all. Of course, that stable can be abused to fake something. Oh, well, did he make a scout? No. It's just the starting scout of blue. And blue is just going for a pure boom. 1 TC coming down right now. Well, not a pure boom. Producing a knight or 2 to pile on a little bit of pressure. Because when you're fast castling, then it's not expected that your opponent is starting military production rather early. But green on the way to Castle Age as well. So that's going to be an 18-minute-ish time, and he'll reach the Castle Age with a hell of a lot of crossbows or archers to be upgraded to crossbows. And look at that, siege workshop by Blue. Does Blue know about the double range, or does he only think Green's playing one range? No, he's aware about the double archery range approach. So those scorpions are even tougher to out micro than mangonels, especially if the numbers are getting higher of scorpions. They don't deal as much damage, but they're also harder to take out since scorpions have more pierce armor. Not for crossbows, as far as I'm aware though. Crossbows deal 7 damage with bodkin arrow, so that's more a thing that applies to only cavalry archers. The cavalry archers only deal 1 damage to them, but to mangonels. No third town center is seen anywhere by Blue right now. He also doesn't have the amount of villagers needed to support both villagers long term, both town centers long term, but he can quickly catch up before he'll run out of food to keep the production. He had a little bit of food banked up, so that's basically mitigating for his weaker economy. So let's see the approach by Green. He's still sitting on 1 TC, producing a monk, maybe even going to react with redemption. And Blue's army composition definitely is a nasty one to deal with in the early Castle Age. Siege and knights, and even a monk as well, healing up everything that's has meat, which he produced. So now engagement coming up. Crossbows taking a little bit of damage off those scorps, and they just can't out micro 2 scorpions. This is so tricky. So he is forced to retreat and already lost like 1/3 of all of those crossbow HP. Give me like 1 minute. Let's put the view lock to Saladin. Oh wow, this one monk just changed up so much in this fight. He got about 20 crossbows against all of the siege of Blue. Well, he still has 1 scorpion, but I saw a mangonel, I saw a scorpion, but still out microed both of them. Blue not with the numbers of knights to do any difference there, just can't afford defense upgrades while he's booming, but he's getting himself into a better position economically. While Green finally is on 3 TCs as well, but slightly fell behind because of the opening, plainly, because he didn't go for fast castle, but a fast feudal. What was his castle age time? 18-0, ridiculously fast. But obviously you start with more food on Ravines, then you start on Arabia. Not too much going on at the moment. Players trying to secure themselves relics, while Blue tries his best to be annoying to pick off the monks, because obviously relics, if the game stays stalematey until the very end, until 1 hour, 130-minute mark, then whoever has them is heavily favored to take the game, or whoever has the lead in relic count. So both want to secure themselves that advantageous position. But we don't have a single relic by blue yet. He's solely focused on piling on the pressure while booming, but of course that's quite an exhausting task as well. Doing those three things at once: booming, farming, piling pressure, being careful to not take bad fights with your army, and securing relics at the same time, while trying to stay annoying with your army. Oh, that Mangonel just took out 2 Scorpions there, and those 2 Scorps just are not a match for 20-30 crossbows around that mark. But still, they're dealing quite a decent amount of damage. Let's see if Green went for redemption as well. I reckon he did not, because he doesn't have all that many gold miners. Well, 13, so it would have been possible, but it's awkward to do that on this map, since you start with fewer gold mines than on Arabia. You have smaller gold mines as well, but there are more neutral gold mines to fight for in the mid and late game. So now the tides are turning regarding who is piling the pressure and who isn't. 3 Scorpions still in there, but even though the Scorps have 1 more range than Mangonels, by the time a Scorpion gets a shot onto the Mangonels, a Mangonel can just walk walk closer to the Scorpion to get a shot onto the Scorps themselves. So the extra range isn't that massively beneficial that you can easily out-micro Mangonels. If the Mangonel player is microing his Mangonels correctly, then in fact you can't out-micro those Scorps. And even aggressive castle coming down by Green, he's not anywhere close to the resources to click Imperial though, so huge risk he's taking here. Oh, look at that knight taking out so many Scorpions there. 2 Scorpions going down. Look at the value is just insane, which both of the monks proved to Saladin. 2 Scorpions went down. Now monks also healing up this army of crossbows slowly but steadily. Siege workshop going down as well. Let's see the resources of blue. And the good thing for green as well, he's forcing blue to heavily invest into military right now. Triple stable knight production, and normally those knights would have been potent enough to clean up this crossbow army, but what blue certainly didn't expect is this aggressive castle behind that. So because of that, the crossbows won the fight and can continue piling on the pressure, and suddenly blue doesn't have the numbers anymore to engage those crossbows, so this can even be a doubt castle. And if green plays this correctly, he can end this game right here, I think. Maybe not, maybe I called it a little bit too early. Yeah, because it took him quite some time to take down that Scorpion, and there are still quite a lot of knights alive. He has enough villagers to get this castle up and standing, but the price blue is gonna pay puts him behind economically. The only lead which he had. He's behind positionally, economically, and by military as well now. Well, yeah, he's definitely behind economically, even though he has 2 more villagers. Considering the fact green is up, that basically makes up for it, let's say. Because at some point blue will have to go to the Imperial Age as well, and look at, yeah, now it's even again with the villager count. And when blue's advancing, then he's falling behind again in villager count. You can't stay in Castle Age against this type of Chinese army unless he's pushing like within the next 2 minutes with a huge ram go. He doesn't have those rams though. With a huge ram go and knights as well, but that would have been suicidal, because Chukunu's behind a castle with villagers there as well. Green could in that case just wall in the villagers, stone wall them in, not necessarily the villagers, but the Chukunus with a stone gate 2 or 2-3 stone gates. And then Chukunus can just take out rams from behind the castle. So blue isn't producing at the moment either. So it looks to me like a cavalier play. But when 2 castles start raining down onto this one, there's just no way this castle will hold. And then green will have a perfect staging point to basically trap down the entire base of blue. Immediately queuing up 2 traps as he reaches Imperial. Blue 75% to imp, 4 knights in the queue, trying to find himself an angle to do some counter damage. So he desperately needs to take out 20, 30, 40 villagers if he wants to stay in this game, considering the amounts of damage he will take now. So he's going for the only option. He's not going for the raids. From his position, that would have probably been one of the only options, but he saw that the Chukunus were in use to defend, so they're out of position. Now 3 gates around this trap, trying to secure it to make sure the knights can't take it down. Luckily, with the definitive edition, gates don't have armor anymore during their build process, so only once the gate is completed they have armor. Hence, the knights managed to break through those gates with ease. So both traps went down. Blue producing his own traps now. So there still is a chance that he's going to manage to repel it, this attack. But we got 15 Chukunus here. I see the army count of green. He's slightly in the lead, but says, oh, look at that, so many military buildings. 8 stables built there, and perfect order as well. And I'll have to change my guesses probably which player is. I'll probably have to go with the Viper for Saladin, because I don't know a single expert player who builds his military buildings in such a perfect order as he does. Position-wise it is. Oh, Cavaliers closing in onto those Chukunus. They want to take down all of the traps again. Let's see if they'll be successful or not. Doesn't look that way. Oh no, all of the Cavaliers are going down. But another group is actually closing in there. So that's 1 trap down. Another one will perish as well. But blue wasn't repairing this trap. Huge mistake. He needed to keep this 1 trap alive if he wants to have a chance to push back 3 castles with 1 defensive castle. Oh, look at that, the Chukunus committing against the traps, and blue's actually out repairing, so he's Green wasted way more Chukunus than he should have, and is making the game still quite even and quite interesting. So there's still a good chance he's losing, but look at that, he's actually switching into heavy camels. He's not going for a full Chukunu play. He's not adding in halbs or something, but he wants the mobility. So once heavy camel kicks in, Friar Tuck doesn't have an answer to those, and even if he adds in halberdiers, well, Chukunus are gonna make short work of those hubs. So what can he do from here? Well, he has to take a favorable engagement now. But heavy camel kicked in. This won't be a favorable engagement for blue. He's taking out quite a good number of Chukunus still though, and the heavy camels are not all that well upgraded. So he still can take fights against this composition. So this trap is probably gonna go down. Let's see the stone count of blue. So everything he has is basically getting invested into repairing here. His macro is not on point. He has a huge number of cavaliers queued up in this stable, but not a single one in his other ones. So maybe he forgot to control group all of them. Why is he packing the traps? Maybe I presume he wants to trap down the castle directly. But then he's putting his traps into the range of the Chukunus, I presume. But, well, they're even the least, so they have 7 range, while the castle can't range the Chukunus. Camels closing in slightly better upgrades than earlier, and also heavily outnumbering the Cavaliers at the moment. So, well, the traps are staying up though. So will this castle go down by green? Blue now finally fixed his production queues as well, producing out of 7 stables at the same time. Well, partly fixing the production queue, it could still be producing out of 7 stables, but he's not, and he's still taking another favorable engagement. Even though green had elite Chukunu, he has rocketry as well, but he does not have the deadly numbers of Chukunus where no melee unit can engage anymore other than Huskarls. He's still repairing this castle, plenty of stone in the bank for him, and now switching to light cav as well. But he has a dangerous number of camels, now +4 pierce armor as well, +3 hack armor, and those camels are just gonna chew with ease through the cavaliers, even though it's underneath the castle range. And now that one trap, one of the few things Blue could cling his hopes onto, has been taken down as well, while Green basically builds all his castles in one position. Blue trying to expand, trying to secure himself a couple extra resources, but Green also, smart move, is sending a light cav everywhere to have the vision to deny those sort of moves, because he can't allow Blue to do this. If there's any chance Blue can come back if he won't manage a center push, or if he won't be able to take down those castles, then it's with side raids and side expansion and such. But Green doing a good job denying that. Chukuno's number is getting more and more dangerous. Green not producing more at the moment though, but Blue cannot engage them with the numbers and the army type which he has right now. This castle is a Garner 2, and then there is nothing standing between Green's death ball and production facilities to Blue's economy. Let's see the populations. Blue also getting forced into a less and less comfortable zone population-wise. 160 population, he doesn't have the largest production queues imaginable either. While Green just manages to replace his camel numbers in no time as well. He just has to get one cycle of production going and immediately has 8 more camels a group like this. So those 8 stables in the later stages of the game pose one of the magical numbers of military buildings you need for a lot of transitions. And now he's continuing with his Chukunu production, enlarging this massive death ball, which cannot be stopped by anything Blue has to offer right now. Even elite skirms would struggle against this. Now Cavaliers trying to take a fight, while while 1/3 of the army of Green was out of position, but now the Cavaliers have to retreat. But he's actually committing there. Not sure why. I don't think it's a cost-efficient fight for Green. I mean for Blue. Of course it's a cost-efficient fight for Green. And now a lot of raids coming in as well, not too much protection up there. No TCs for Blue, and he has to call it. He is sitting on 140 population, about to lose another 10-20 villagers. And once this is down, Green can just uncontestedly walk towards the farm economy of Blue and there's just nothing stopping him from completely steamrolling his base at this very moment. So good timing of calling the GG by blue. Gotta leave him that. But of course, ridiculously strong performance by Saladin in both of the sets just yet.